Children, today in the topic of quadratic equation, we will be learning the relation between the roots of and coefficients. Right. So, what are the roots? The solution of the quadratic equations. Right. And what are the coefficients? Like the coefficient of x square is a, the coefficient of x is b, and the coefficient of constant is c. Okay. So these are the coefficients of the terms in quadratic equation. So we have assumed that let the quadratic equation whose roots are alpha and beta is ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. So when we solve this quadratic equation, and a cannot be equal to 0. Why? Because if a becomes 0, then this equation will not be a quadratic equation, it will become a linear equation that we have already studied. Okay. So if we apply Sridharachar and calculate the value of x, the two values of x that will be obtained will be minus b plus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a, and minus b minus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So those plus and minus will be the two roots of the equation. So I have taken the roots as alpha, which is minus b plus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a, and beta minus b minus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Alright, so if we add these two values, so this plus and minus term will get cancelled. Right, so what we are left with, alpha plus beta, let the sum of roots will be alpha plus beta, and when we add the value of alpha and beta, the term that will be acquired will be minus 2b upon 2a. 2 and 2 will get cancelled, minus b upon a. This can be also written as coefficient minus times of coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square. Alright. If we calculate the product of the roots, if we multiply these two terms, the value of product of the roots will be obtained c upon a. Okay. And when we have obtained the value of sum of the roots and product of the roots, then these are the symmetric functions that can also be obtained. Like alpha minus beta to the whole square can be written as alpha plus beta to the whole square minus 4 alpha beta. Alpha square plus beta square can be obtained from alpha plus beta to the whole square minus 2 alpha beta. Alright. Alpha cube plus beta cube can be obtained from this formula. Alpha plus beta to the whole cube minus 3 alpha beta in bracket alpha plus beta. Alpha square minus, it should be minus difference of a square. Alpha square minus beta square. It will be alpha plus beta into alpha minus beta. Alright children. Please note down this much first. Next point that we'll study is formation of quadratic equation with given roots. That means we have to obtain a quadratic equation when roots are given. Alright. So let's assume that the roots of any equation are alpha and beta. So if alpha and beta are the roots of equation, then alpha plus beta will be minus b upon a, and the product of the roots will be c upon a. So let's suppose the equation will be ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. So if in this equation, if we divide a both sides, left hand side and right hand side, so right hand side will become 0, and when we divide a from left hand side, it will become x square plus b upon ax plus c upon a equals to 0. This plus b upon a can be written as minus of minus b upon a, because the sum of root is minus b upon a, plus c upon a equals 0. So in place of minus b upon a, we write alpha plus beta. In place of c upon a, we write alpha beta. Alright. So alpha plus beta is what? The sum of the roots, and alpha beta is the product of the roots. So if we have to obtain the equation from the given roots, so the equation will be x square minus sum of the roots into x plus product of the root equals to 0. Understood children? When roots are given and obtain the quadratic equation, then we apply x square minus sum of the roots into x plus product of the roots equals to 0. Okay, note down please. Let's see another point children. Now in this point we have to find the condition when two roots are connected with given relation. And the first is one common root. That means root is common in both the quadratic equations. So let's see that, let's assume the equation as a1 x square plus b1 x plus c1 equals to 0, and another quadratic equation as a2 x square plus b2 x plus c2 equals to 0, where a1 and a2 both are not equal to 0. Let's assume that they have one common root alpha. If alpha is the common root of both the quadratic equation, then that common root is the solution of the both quadratic equation. That means that common root must satisfy those two quadratic equations. So that means alpha is the solution of both the quadratic equations. So we can substitute alpha in place of x. So the quadratic equation obtained will be a1 alpha square plus b1 alpha plus c1 equals 0 and a2 alpha square plus b2 alpha plus c2 equals 0. When we apply cross multiplication method, so solving these two quadratic equations, will get the result as alpha square upon b1 c2 minus b2 c1, alpha as c1 a2 minus c2 a1, and 1 upon a1 b2 minus a2 b1. So when we equate the first and second term, so alpha will get cancelled. The value of alpha obtained will be b1 c2 minus b2 c1 upon c1 a2 minus c2 a1. And on equating the second and third term, we get the value of alpha as c1 a2 minus c2 a1 upon a1 b2 minus a2 b1. So both are the values of alpha. When we equate these two values, we'll get the condition as a c1 a2 minus c2 a1 to the whole square equals to b1 c2 minus b2 c1 in bracket into a1 b2 minus a2 b1 in the bracket. So this is the condition for the two given quadratic equation of having one root common. Alright children, note down this much first. Now children, we have to find the conditions when the roots are connected, and the second point is both roots are common. Okay, for this, let the equations be same as we have done in previous point. A1x square plus b1x plus c1 equals 0 and a2x square plus b2x plus c2 equals 0, where a1 and a2 both are not equals to 0. They have both the roots common. Now these two equations have both the roots common. So let the roots be alpha plus beta. So if we calculate the sum of the roots from the first equation, we get alpha plus beta will be minus b upon a. And if we get alpha plus beta from the sum of the roots from second equation, we'll get minus b2 upon a2. So when we equate these two terms, minus and minus will get cancelled, cross multiply, we get this condition as a1 upon a2 is equals to b1 upon b2. So this is the first condition that we obtained, first equation, right? Let's find the product of the roots from the first equation. The product of the roots from the first equation, that is alpha into beta, it will be c1 upon a1. And from the second equation, it will be c2 upon a2. Because both the roots are same, so product will also be same, right? So when we again cross multiply, so we get this condition a1 upon a2 equals to c1 upon c2. Now here a1 upon a2 equals to b1 upon b2. Now here a1 upon a2 equals c1 upon c2. When we equate 1 and 2, okay, from first and second condition, we can say that a1 upon a2 is equals to b1 upon b2 equals to c1 upon c2 is the condition when both the roots of the given quadratic equations are equal or common. Alright children, please note down. Okay children, let's see few sums so that we can understand the topic. In this sum, it is given that if alpha and beta are the roots of the equation 3x square minus 6x plus 4 equals to 0, evaluate in bracket alpha square upon beta plus beta square upon alpha plus in bracket alpha upon beta plus beta upon alpha plus 2 into bracket 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta plus 3 alpha beta. From the given equation, we can see that the sum of the roots will be minus b upon a. So it will be minus of minus 6 upon 3, it will be 6 upon 3, that is 2. And the product of the roots will be c upon a, which is 4 by 3. There are 4 different terms given. We are simplifying them separately and then we substitute the value of these terms. Okay, and then evaluate the whole value. The first value is alpha square upon beta plus beta square upon alpha. So if we take the LCM alpha beta, it will become alpha cube plus beta cube upon alpha beta. Alpha cube plus beta cube can be represented in alpha plus beta form. Sum and product, it will be alpha plus beta to the whole cube in bracket minus 3 alpha beta in bracket alpha plus beta upon alpha beta. So substitute the values of alpha plus beta and alpha beta. So when we put alpha plus beta as 2, it will become 2 cube minus 3 into 4 by 3 into 2 upon 4 by 3. This will be 8. 3 and 3 cancel. 4 to the 8. 8 minus 8, it will be 0. Alright. Let's see the value of second term, alpha upon beta plus beta upon alpha. When we take the LCM, it will become alpha square plus beta square upon alpha beta. Alpha square plus beta square can be written as alpha plus beta to the whole square minus 2 alpha beta upon alpha beta. The value of alpha plus beta is 2. So it will become 2 square minus 2 into 4 by 3 upon 4 by 3. So when we solve the numerator, we will get 4 by 3 in the numerator. Upon 4 by 3, we will get 1. Let's see this value, 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta. We'll get, when we take the LCM, it will become alpha plus beta upon alpha beta. 2 upon 4 by 3, that is 6 upon 4, 3 by 2. So substituting the values in the given term that we have to evaluate, it will be 0 plus 1 plus 2 into 3 by 2 plus 4, 3 into 4 by 3. When we add, we'll get the answer as 8. Alright, note down please. Let's see another sum, children. Now in this sum, it is given that form an equation with rational coefficients. That means if the equation is ax square plus bx plus c, that the value of a, b and c are rational numbers. One of whose roots is root 3 plus 1 upon root 3 minus 1. We know that root 3 is an irrational number, right? So if we assume that one root alpha is given as root 3 plus 1 upon root 3 minus 1, we are simplifying this number by multiplying with the conjugate numerator and denominator, root 3 plus 1 upon root 3 plus 1. So numerator will get root 3 plus 1 to the whole square. When we expand, we get 3 plus 1 plus 2 root 3. And a plus b, a minus b, difference square formula we apply, we get a square minus b square. It will be 3 minus 1. So in denominator we'll get 2, in numerator we'll get 4 plus 2 root 3. Taking 2 common from the numerator and cancelling out with the denominator, the simplified value of alpha will be obtained as 2 plus root 3. Then we can say that if alpha is 2 plus root 3, then if one root is irrational number, root 3 is the irrational number, the other root will be the irrational conjugate. So the value of beta will be 2 minus root 3, and we give the reason as irrational roots exist in pairs. Right. So now if we calculate the sum of the roots, alpha plus beta, 2 plus root 3 plus 2 minus root 3 will get cancelled. We get 4 as the sum. If we multiply or get product of the roots, alpha into beta, that will be 2 plus root 3 into 2 minus root 3. We'll get a square minus a plus b, a minus b, a square minus b square. It will be 1. When roots are given, sum of the roots and product of the roots are given, we can easily obtain the equation, quadratic equation. It will be x square minus sum of the roots into x plus product of the roots equals to 0. That will be x square minus 4x plus 1 equals to 0. Alright children, please note down. Let's see another sum, children. Now in this sum, it is given that the ratio of the roots of the equation x square plus alpha x plus alpha plus 2 is 2. Find the value of the parameter alpha. That means the roots of the equation, the ratio of the roots of the equation is 2 given. And we are given with this equation, quadratic equation. So if we assume that, let the roots of this equation be gamma and delta, that means the sum of the roots will be minus b upon a, minus times of coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square. So gamma plus delta will obtained as minus alpha. This is the first equation. And the product of the roots, that means gamma into delta, it will be alpha plus 2, that is c upon a. The value of a is 1, so it will be alpha plus 2. And in the sum, it is given that the ratio of the roots of the equation is 2. That means gamma upon delta is 2. If gamma and delta are the roots of the equation that we have assumed. So from here we can obtain the value of gamma as 2 delta. Now substitute this value in equation 1. 2 delta plus delta equals to minus alpha. Then the value of delta will be minus alpha by 3. Alright, the value of delta will be minus alpha by 3. When we substitute this value here, gamma equals to 2 delta, we'll get the value of gamma as minus 2 alpha by 3. Now what we are doing is substituting the value of gamma and delta in the second equation. Gamma into delta equals to alpha plus 2. So when we do that, we'll get minus alpha by 3 in bracket into in bracket minus 2 alpha by 3 equals to alpha plus 2. So minus minus will become plus, minus into minus, 2 alpha square upon 9 equals to alpha plus 2. When we cross multiply, we'll get alpha square plus 9 alpha minus 8 plus 18. Transfer these two terms that side to left hand side, we'll get this quadratic equation 2 alpha square minus 9 alpha minus 18 equals to 0. We are factorizing this quadratic equation and obtaining the value of alpha. which will be 6 comma minus 3 by 2. Both the values satisfy the equation, so both the values are accepted. All right, children. Please note down the solution. Children, now let's try to understand the graph of the quadratic functions. I have assumed that the quadratic function fx has ax square plus bx plus c, and what I'm doing, I'm making a perfect square from the function, right? So for making perfect square, the first rule is to take the coefficient of x square, make coefficient of x square as 1. So for making the coefficient of x square 1, I'm taking a common from the equation. When we do that, we'll get in bracket a into in bracket x square plus b upon ax plus c upon a, right? This term we can write as x square plus 2 into b upon 2ax. Now this is what? This is a square plus 2ab written. For making a perfect square, we need to add the b square term. So what I'm doing, I'm adding and subtracting the b square term. Okay, so it will be b square upon 4a square plus b square upon 5 square minus this c upon a will come here. Now you can see that this has these three terms. It has become a formula of a plus b to the whole square. So now we are going to represent fx as y equals to a in bracket x plus b upon 2a to the whole square. On taking the LCM in these two terms, we'll get b square minus 4ac upon 4a square. Alright. So this is the value of discriminant delta. So a will be x plus b upon 2a. It will be 2a here. 2a to the whole square minus delta upon 4a square. So the value of y on multiplying a inside the bracket, we'll get y equals to a in 2 in bracket x plus b upon 2a to the whole square minus delta upon 4a. Transferring this delta upon 4a, that side will get y plus delta upon 4a equals to a times of x plus b upon a to the whole square. Now x square equals to 4ay represents the equation of the parabola whose vertex is minus b upon 2a minus delta upon 4a. If we equate this x upon x plus b upon 2a equals 0, we'll get x equals to minus b upon 2a. If we equate y plus delta upon 4a equals to 0, we'll get y minus delta upon 4a. These are the vertices of the parabola. Okay, the turning point of parabola. So we can say that for upward parabola for x square equals to 4ay, parabola could be upward or it could be downward. So when a is greater than 0, we'll get this parabola, upward parabola. Okay, and this is at a equals 0, we'll get the minimum point. And when a is less than 0, we'll get the downward parabola. For a less than 0, we'll get this parabola. Alright children, note down this much first. Now case 1 says when delta or the discriminant is 0. We know that when the delta of the equation ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, the equation must be having real roots. So here the value of x is minus b upon 2a that we have calculated. So the value of x will be real and equal. That means the two values of x the two roots that will be obtained will be same. Minus b upon 2a comma minus b upon 2a. Alright. Now if we draw the graph of the function ax square plus bx plus c whose roots are equal, it will touch the x-axis at minus b upon 2a. Because when delta is 0, the y coordinate will become 0. Okay, so the vertex of the parabola will lie on the x-axis. So when a is greater than 0, we'll get upward parabola and delta equals 0, the vertex must lie on x-axis. When a is less than 0, we'll get this downward parabola and delta equals 0, that means the y coordinate will become 0. So the vertex coordinates will be minus b upon 2a comma 0. Alright children, this is the first case when delta is 0. Note down please. Now children, let's discuss the second case when discriminant is less than 0. Then the equation we say that quadratic equation x square plus bx plus c equals to 0 has no real solution, has no real roots. We do not find, if we draw this curve, this parabola, okay, then we'll see that this curve will not touching or intersecting x-axis. That means no real solutions, no real values will be obtained. Okay, the vertex is minus b upon a and the y coordinate is minus delta upon 4a. When a is greater than 0 and delta is less than 0, we'll obtain this parabola. From this curve, we can say that, from this figure, we can say that for the all values of quadratic function, for all values of x, we put x equals to any value, any real number. The value of the quadratic function will always be greater than 0 because it is lying in first quadrant. Okay, it is positive. The value of y will be positive, greater than 0. And you can see again this curve is not touching or intersecting axis of x. So we can say that will not be getting any real values, because discriminant is when less than 0, we get imaginary values, complex values, right? So the parabola will be downward parabola if a is less than 0 and delta is less than 0. A is representing the face of the parabola, alright, and delta is representing where the parabola is intersecting x-axis, touching x-axis, or it's above x-axis or below x-axis, right? So here the quadratic equation will be less than 0. The sign of quadratic equation will be negative for any value of x, real values of x, right? Note down this, please. Now children, let's discuss the third case of the graph of the quadratic equation when the discriminant is greater than 0. We have studied earlier that when discriminant is greater than 0, then the roots of the quadratic equation will be distinct and real. We'll get distinct and real roots. Here I have assumed that the roots are alpha and beta. So whenever we draw the graph of the quadratic equation, this will form a parabola whose vertex is minus b upon 2a, comma, minus delta upon 4a. So when we draw this graph, for the value a greater than 0 and delta greater than 0, we'll get upward parabola. Okay. Now you can see there in this parabola, the value of x is alpha comma beta when the value of the curve is 0. That means for ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0 at x equals to alpha comma beta, the value of the parabola is below x-axis, that means negative, when x is in between alpha and beta. We can say that ax square plus bx plus c is less than 0 when x is lying between alpha and beta. Or otherwise, the curve is above x-axis, so the value of the quadratic equation will be greater than 0 for rest of the values of x. Right? Same as here, the value of x is alpha and beta, then the value of the quadratic equation will be 0. Right? The value of the curve is above x-axis when the value is in between alpha and beta. So value of ax square plus bx plus c will be positive when x is lying in between alpha and beta. Or otherwise it will be negative. Or rest all the values of the curve are lying below x-axis. So the value of the curve will be negative for the remaining values of x. Alright children, this was the third case of the graph of quadratic equation. In this we have discussed the sign of the quadratic equation as well. We'll discuss further as well. Note down this please. Let's discuss one sum. In this we have to draw a graph fx equals to x square minus 3x minus 4, and we have to discuss the sign of this quadratic equation x square minus 3x minus 4, that when it is positive, when it will be equal to 0, and when it will be less than 0. Let's start solving. What we'll do, we'll try to find the vertex of the parabola, because we know that every quadratic equation represents a parabola. So what we'll do, we'll make a perfect square in terms of x. So I've written this 3x square minus 3x minus 4 as x square minus 2 into 3 by 2 into x. When we solve, we'll get again minus 3x, right? So this term will be considered as b. So I'm adding and subtracting the b square. So 9 square, 3 by 2 square will be 9 by 4. Plus 9 by 4 minus 9 by 4. Now these three terms, x square minus 2, 3 by 2x plus 9 by 4 will form a perfect square x minus 3 by 2 to the whole square. And minus 9 by 4 minus 4 will be minus 25 by 4. When transferred that side, y plus 25 by 4 it will come equals to y x minus 3 by 2 to the whole square. So that means when we equate these values to 0, we'll get the vertex as 3 by 2 comma minus 25 by 4. The value of a, which is the coefficient of x square, is 1, that is greater than 0, and the value of discriminant is b square minus 4ac is minus 7 is less than 0. Then we know that the parabola will be formed for a upward greater than 0, that means upward parabola will be formed, and discriminant is less than 0. sorry, the discriminant is greater than 0. Minus 3 square minus 4 into 1 into minus 4. The value of c is minus 4, right? So it will become plus 16 plus 9 plus 25, which is greater than 0, right? So when a is greater than 0 and discriminant is also greater than 0, then this parabola will be formed. Let's see how we draw this parabola, how we make a sketch of this parabola. So vertex, we know that this point will be the vertex. Let's find out few more points so that we know that this is upward parabola. It will be formed in this shape only, right? So let's see where this parabola will pass through the x-axis. If we put y equals to 0, in this equation, if we put y equals to 0, we get two values of x as minus 1 and 4. That means this parabola is passing through 2 points on x-axis, which is minus 1 and 4. And when we put y equals to x equals to 0, we get one value of y, which is minus 4. That means the parabola is intersecting y-axis at only one point at minus 4. So we can take out more points to find the exact curve. But I have got the idea that this way the parabola will be formed, right? So I have just drawn a rough sketch of that. So we can, from here, we can comment that when x equals to minus 1 and 4, the value of this quadratic function, which is representing this parabola, it will be 0, right? Because at roots are, the value will be 0 at x equals to minus 1 and 4. See, when you put x equals to minus 1, 4, the value of y on this curve, it will be 0. That means the value of quadratic function will be 0. When you, in between minus 1 and 4, the value of the parabola is below x-axis, right? So when below x-axis, that means negative. So we can say that when x is between minus 1 and 4, the value of the quadratic function will be less than 0 or negative. When x is less than 1, for smaller values of x, smaller than minus 1 and greater than 4, the value of the curve is above x-axis. So we can say that x square minus 6 minus 4 is greater than 0 for x less than minus 1 and x greater than 4. Alright children, understood? Please note down the solution.